How you doing, YouTube? Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. Scratchy voice and all. Throwing my voice out a little bit. Don't know how that happened, but we're going to keep going. We're going to power through things. We're going to do another beer review. This time we're going to be doing a little bit of Jersey-born, cherried, sour, wild fermented ale. It's called a Kriek. In the form of the Referend beer Belndary. It's their, I don't know if they want to go Krek or Kriek. They're alluding to Kriek. But the Referend kind of skirts along the sides of a lot of things when it comes to beers and actually the whole kind of Belgian tradition or the lambic tradition. So we'll go Krek for the sake of this review. As far as what else it says on here, like I said, Referend beer Belndary, 100% spontaneously fermented ale aged in oak barrels with cherries. On the back here it says, Krek is spontaneously fermented golden ale aged in an oak puncheon for over a year before spontaneously re-fermenting with fresh, whole, ripe, sour cherries in a barrel. This 2017 Harvest Edition underwent 9 months maturation in New York Blanton cherries and 2-year overall barrel maturation prior to bottling. And there's a quote from Aristophanes? How do you say that? Here, let's butcher it together. I want to say Aristophanes, but there's no L in there. Aristophanes. I probably butchered that. And the quote is Cokes. I don't know idea what that means. Above my head, below my knees. And it was bottled April 29th, 2018. Today is the beginning of September. Middle of September. So we're talking about April, May, June, July, August, September. So 5 months old. Label-wise, it's awesome. It's got that nice texture on it. You're just looking at just kind of a water painting of lily pads, it looks like, and water and stuff. So there you go. Green bottle, cork and gauge. What more do you want? So I picked this up last weekend. I was down at the Referend. Just kind of scooting through the area. Felt like going out to eat. There's a couple great restaurants around there. And I was like, okay, I'm going to stop at a brewery. Ended up going there. And yeah, it's a great story, isn't it? So she wants to come out. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with a beer that wants to come out. It's wrong with a beer that wants to come out and continues to want to keep coming out. And that would be the issue. So, I mean, just by looking at it from a distance, I mean, you're just getting those rich kind of raspberry hues to it, even though it's a cherried beer. It's just rich raspberry deliciousness. It had a really nice aggressive, sprightly, prickly carbonation on it that's dissipated pretty quickly. Sour beer, understandable. Soft carbonation, nothing too crazy. And yeah, she looks like raspberry juice. Let's get a nose. Yeah, it even comes off, I mean, it is cherries. Rich, whole, fleshy, non-super sweetened kind of cherry fleshiness. You get a nice little kind of a soft, little sulfury kind of funkiness to it. Soft oak, a little bit of vanilla from that oak. There's a rich kind of red grape wine vibe to it. Smells rich, doesn't smell overly sweet, doesn't smell overly acidic either. It's kind of somewhere in the middle in a good way, welcoming. Gentle, but at the same time being impactful. You can be both at the same time. Let's dive in. Cheers. Ooh, really drying. Like really drying. Yeah, big, rich, drying cherry. It ends up coming on pretty sweet and pretty cool, kind of fleshy. It's not like a jammy thing. It's like you stripped up all the skins off cherry and started eating cherry flesh. Kind of comes off that way. It hits you really hard with a big, huge dry punch on it. I'm assuming that's a combination of all that oak, combined with the yeast, combined even with the fruit. There's a nice tartness to it. There's a nice acidity to it. It's not over the top, but it's enough to make me kind of worry about getting a little bit of heartburn. Let me rephrase that. It has me worried about definitely getting a little bit of heartburn. It lacks a little bit of balance for me, though. It's just basically not over the top, medium level acidity with a huge drying component, be it from the oak, be it from the yeast. It's dry from the oak, from the yeast, and that way it comes off, it just lacks a little bit of sweetness. I don't want this to be an overly sweetened beer. I don't want it to be one of those fake kind of sours that have a crazy amount of sweetness to it. But this just comes off just needing just a little bit of sweetness to kind of keep that dryness in check, keep that acidity for me in check. I know some people really dig it. We're talking about me here. That ends up coming off a little bit too dry and a little, well, let me put it this way, a decent bit too dry for me. And not too acidic, just a little bit too much for the sweetness level in the beer itself. I like it though. It's nice. It shows the fruit in the way I want the fruit to be shown. Very real. Very. It's not even like I said earlier. It's not even like a jammy thing. It's just a straight up kind of fruit fleshiness. And I mean, it's one of the reasons why I love Krieks. It's one of the reasons why I picked this up. It's one of my favorite styles of beer. If done the way I like it, this one just tends to be kind of skirting on the edges of what I like, with that big missing component of a little bit of sweetness. Again, when I hammer that home, I don't want it to be a Lindemans. I don't want it to be an overly sweet beer. I just want to have a little bit, just a skosh more sweetness to balance it out for me. But yeah, it's nice. It's fine. It's definitely an ager for me. I'm going to pick up another bottle of this. It's the beer I want to buy. I want to let it sit for a couple of years. I want to see where it tracks. I think it can balance out quite well. Become something that really turn me on. But where it sits right now, it's just a little bit too on the edges for me to get kind of all hot and bothered about. Let's put it that way. Especially when it comes to somebody's interpretation of what they would call a Kriek or a Krek. So let's talk about it. Is it one of the better Krieks I've had as of late? For me, it's definitely on the outside looking in. It just, like, that lack of a little bit of sweetness along with a little bit of balance is kind of just keeps it out for me. And that big drying component is just so big, it just keeps it from just landing beautifully. Let's put it that way. Value availability. I think it was $12 brewery only. I don't know if you can see their stuff at bottle shops and stuff like that. I think you can every now and then, and leave you with, if you like what we like this. If you like Krieks, but you want stuff to be even less sweet, definitely a bit more drying, and but really show those cherries. So that's probably the biggest kind of pinnacle of the beer itself, is the way it's showing these cherries, the way it comes off. It's really fleshy, really tasty. That in of itself is worthy of a try. So if you dig the cherry vibes, if you like your Krieks, it's worth picking up. Especially, I would say, if you can find one with a couple years on it. Like I said, 5 months on this one. Was it 5? I forgot how much I counted, but I would like to see this with about 2-3 years on it. Probably be like cash money for me. At least for me. There you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Bier Massive if you want to check me out doing whole podcasting stuff and interview James Priest from the Referend. You should go check it out. And there you go. Another review down. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you enjoyed a nice Kriek right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.